I don't know about you, but this is one I've been looking forward to. Star Wars The Bad Batch. When something Star Wars, my default position is I'm looking forward to it and I'll see it as soon as I can. Though when we got the announcement last year that we were gonna get The Bad Batch out of all spin-off possibilities, because the Clone Wars series is stock full of planets, lore, and possible spin-off stories, I was a little bit turned off by the choice to do a spin-off from that one arc from season 7, as they're basically the Ninja Turtles, but in Star Wars. You got the quirky science guy, the muscle, the leader, it all adds up. Not the most original concept. But we did get a really good trailer where we essentially found out, wait a sec, this is gonna feel like Clone Wars Season 8. That's exactly what this is. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After a Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. Happy May the 4th, by the way. Enjoy some Star Wars today and have a good one. I'm gonna start with the biggest general takeaway I got from this episode, and that is way more going to be a story about loyalty, about dealing with rising new powers that are corrupting the galaxy, what it's like to feel betrayed by fellow soldiers, all that kind of themes, than it is a story about Ninja Turtles in space. So the biggest question I immediately had after this show was announced, why the Bad Batch exactly? Well, because they're the perfect opportunity to tell this story. They're a set of characters that have functioned within the Republic but are still different because their defective program is allowing them to make choices of their own. This show is basically what if clones had a moral compass during and after Order 66. The animation is once again just as good as the Clone Wars Season 7. You'll remember that Clone Wars animation improved every season. I think the animation team has found their footing, as this is Clone Wars Season 7, the exact same quality. I think it's still good animation to look at. Sometimes when there is a big explosion or something very dynamic going on, it tends to look a bit fake here and there. It's not Pixar or Disney Studios level animation, and that's okay. If we're getting a lot of these stories, I think that's really okay. By the way, if you're one that can't get enough of Disney Plus, this is the only channel that's specifically and absolutely only Disney Plus thoughts and reviews. Episode per episode, we all watch together. You'll have an idea on what to expect. Click that button and that bell if you want to follow along. Thank you so much. From here and beyond, I'm going to announce spoilers because I want to get into some specific story points. This has been your warning. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Are you still here? Let's go. First things first, I was surprised that we saw Caleb Dune, aka Kanan Jarrus from Rebels in this first episode. He does make sense in this story, as he is one to survive Order 66, but I was confused as I have read the comic book Kanan the Last Padawan, and that story panned out a bit differently. The Bad Batch weren't involved, also because they haven't been created yet when that comic was written, but I immediately knew the creators were pulling a retcon. The female Jedi does appear to be the same character, I can't remember her name, although she's got two dots on her forehead instead of one in the comics. Am I nitpicking about this? Absolutely. It was just one of the first things this show was doing is a retcon. Well, the comics aren't as important or read by that many people, so I'll adjust my headcanon and I'll be okay. Especially if Kanan is going to be a part of this show moving forward, I'll be happy they did it. Let's see where this goes. The story was really great, I think, and also very timely, as the idea that you should follow orders whatever happens is a very big deal these times. And what I mean is, given the weird circumstances we're in right now, we are asked to obey orders that are directly against normal human behavior. Asking ourselves if this behavior is right, if we should continue to comply, is a dilemma we currently face as a society. The Bad Batch is coming at the best time, making us think about this choice. Good soldiers follow orders is of course a phrase we have heard before in the Clone Wars, but in this show we're gonna get it fully explored. I love it. What I also really much liked is that we get to see the perspective of Kamino and how everyone responds to this change of direction. All the clones are under hypnosis, of course, and seem more hostile than ever. Tarkin is getting a strong grip and wonders if he should continue the program. And the Kaminoans, am I saying that right? Kaminoans? Their work and their business essentially is in jeopardy. So we actually see one of them helping the Bad Batch group escape, which is really interesting. I can imagine that they can't help but feel threatened by the idea that the clones wouldn't be necessary anymore. What that means for their relationship with the Empire and consequently the Bad Batch team and rebellers and such, it's very exciting where all the pieces are going. And then we got Crosshair, who doesn't feel conflicted at all about this. His programming is making him completely compliant. So that was an interesting dynamic within the group. But I was asking myself during the episode, how long would this go on? How long would this be interesting? Because if we get him functioning within the group for the whole season and whining every step of the way that they're not following orders, then I would have grown tired of it. But no, he's officially the main villain now, which fits. He even talks like a villain this whole episode through, with a really deep voice and all. So that's cool, not completely unexpected, but it's cool. Maybe it's a nitpick, maybe not, but the fact that this episode really tried to explain why Tarkin and therefore the Empire wanted to get rid of the obviously superior clones and get stormtroopers, I don't think it's particularly a clever move, because that's one of those things that are better left unexplained, as it feels a bit like a plot hole. Stormtroopers suck and can't aim, as a lot of us know. Except when this show decides to go for it, go really dark, and really explain to us that what the Empire ultimately wants is as much real humans, not clones, as their soldiers, so that they have an opportunity to enslave millions of people. Because every stormtrooper is one less freedom fighter to get rid of. If the show would delve into these kinds of psychologies, my opinion on it would start to change. For now, it feels a bit weird that Tarkin's trying to get rid of the clones, you know? I'm still not sold on Omega, the little girl, and it raises a lot of questions. She raises a lot of questions. Because there's one scene where we get explained that Crosshair isn't really the 5th clone that got the experimental treatment, that it was the girl Omega all along. So why does Crosshair look that different? Why is Omega so young? I mean, the question on the bottom of my list would be why Omega is a girl and all other clones are guys, but I will buy that because they're experimented upon, and apparently they have the ability to mess with gender. It's confirmed, guys. First transgender or queer person in Star Wars will be a character that is experimented upon. Oh, and I don't like the muscle guy Wrecker. He's basically a testosterone-fueled child throwing around bad humor. I think I chuckled once during the episode, but he's really the annoying part of the team right now. Well, what did I expect? So I wanted to give some thoughts about some specific story beats and first impressions about the show. I love the soldiers follow orders dilemma. I like the action and the animation. It's just as we know from the Clone Wars. The episode raised some questions like why stormtroopers, and I'm not yet sold on Omega, although this shot, by the way, was great, where we see the light speed reflected in her eyes, a nice image that fits a character that hasn't seen anything of the galaxy. All in all, really enjoyable 70 minutes. It isn't the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars in terms of satisfaction, but hell, we're at the very start of this story. We have yet 15 episodes to go. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. What are your first impressions on this show? Let me know in the comments. If you want to drop a like, that's cool. And I'm back coming Friday with the new episode, of course, and thoughts on Big Shot and Mighty Ducks Game Changers episodes. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya!